Welcome everyone, G-Man here, and we got our Week 9 college football recap video. Before we get into this video and talk about some of the games and the recruiting across the country, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please go subscribe. The more subscribers we have, the better content we can provide to you. And as always, please go like this video after watching. Guys, let's talk about it. So we had another great week of college football, and it really started on Thursday. I believe Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Pitt versus Syracuse. Pitt wins 41-13. I believe Pitt had like 3 or 4 pick sixes. Bad day for Syracuse and Kyle McCord. And Pitt's defense is legit. So shout out to Pittsburgh, and they stay undefeated. Next game here we're going to talk about. This was on Friday in Las Vegas. Was a showdown. Boise State at UNLV. Boise State wins a close one, 29-24. I gotta say, I am somewhat impressed by UNLV's defense to really keep Genty under 200. That seems insane to say. He still had 139, as you can see, total yards and 1 touchdown. But if you were to watch that game, they definitely were hitting them, at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, definitely selling the run in type of their defensive strategy. So shout out to them. They just couldn't get it done on the offensive side to really get over the hump. But these two teams definitely have a chance to face each other in the Mountain West Championship potentially. Next one here is my beloved USC Trojans facing the Rutgers at home. It was a night game. This was on Friday night. A lot of things happening on Friday night. But we win comfortably, 42-20. First time seeing 40 points in a good minute. We had 28 points in the first half, which was, I believe, the most this season. I mean, we were just efficient, I would say. I don't think, we did anything dramatic in terms of running the ball more there, here and there. I just think that we were just more efficient overall in terms of play calling. And whatnot. So happy to get back on the winning streak or winning side, I should say, not a streak yet. But we got Washington next at Washington, so big time road game. Hope to get our first road game next week. Next game here is Notre Dame at Navy, and Notre Dame dominates. This is kind of what you would expect for the most part, right? Notre Dame is a a legit program. Navy's to no offense, but Navy's a G5, right? So, and at the end of the day, when you turn over the ball 5 times in the first half, you're probably not going to win those games. So I think that's definitely the takeaway from this game. Next game here, we got the Hoosiers facing Washington, and they win 31-17 with the backward quarterback, and they stay undefeated. Shout out to them. College game day was there, so they definitely had a lot of eyes on them and whatnot. Another big game here, BYU at UCF. This was BYU was traveling over to UCF, and whatnot. But that had no issue. Almost 40 minutes of possession, and they dominated from the start. I was very shocked that they were underdog in this game. So whoever bet on them and got that extra bump, shout out to you. All right, next one, Mizzou at Bama. And Bama just gets a shutout at home, 34-0. And Mizzou just continues to look like a fraud. I know Brady Cook, their quarterback, was in and out. He had an ankle injury going into the game, but then I think he got like an upper body injury as well during the game. Yeah, I just think that Mizzou is just not who we thought they were. Another game here, Penn State at Wisconsin, night game in Madison. This game was close. It was 10-7 at half. Drew Aller, I think, hurt his knee. He didn't return, and so their backup came in and actually kind of gave him another weapon, another element to their offense, right? And so they took off in the second half, man, and they only gave up 3 points in the second half and won 28-13. What I'll say about this Penn State team, man, it really seems like they definitely are. They know how to finish. They're a second half team. They make the right adjustments. So shout out to them, man. And they got a big game coming up against Ohio State. Another big game during the night was LSU at Texas A&M. And this was, wow, 2 different sides. LSU dominated the first half, in my opinion. A&M dominated the second half. And as you can see, they win 38-23. They were able to finish and get over those humps. A lot of turnovers in this game, I believe, from LSU sides, or just couldn't get it going. There's a botched snap at one point. So yeah, a lot of issues. Big time crowd. I think over 100,000 were there. So hard to really win in those types of environments. Another one is Kansas at Kansas State, and they won a close one. This was a rivalry game, and they win 29-27. They continue their winning ways and be in front in the Big 12 championship. The Big 12 championship, man, is starting to get a little bit more exciting. It really is. So shout out to Kansas State to continue to win. And lastly, guys, before we get into recruiting, hope you guys have enjoyed today's recap. SMU at Duke. SMU wins a close one, 20-27. I was thinking Duke can pull this off, but SMU got it done, and they continue to show up. This is first year back in the power conferences, right? They're in the ACC now. Back in the day they were, what's it called? Suspended essentially, and whatnot. And so for them to kind of come back and win some games is really cool. All right, guys, recruiting. So we have a big time commit here. Adrian Wilson, a wide receiver. As you can see, he commits to Colorado. He is a former ASU commit, a former TCU commit, and a former Oregon commit. I'm not really trying to, throw shade at this kid. If it's coming off that way, I do apologize. But in general, this is what college football is, man. There's so many commits, decommits, and so hopefully it does sound like this one will stick. Hopefully he really finds his home and does his thing. Big time linebacker commit AJ Crew. He commits to Georgia after flipping from UNC, and it seems like UNC's been having a lot of troubles. If you remember last episode or video on the preview show, we talked about 2 tight ends that flipped to different schools from UNC, and this is just the third UNC. So, I made a comment on Twitter about, is Mac Brown going to be retiring this year? Because it just seems like they're not keeping their guys. Big time D lineman Christian Hudson. He has committed to the Colorado Buffaloes, and he flips from UCF. So big time get for Dion and his crew. And then lastly, as always, we got to talk about the tight ends here. Michael Skinner, he was a Cincinnati commit, months ago, if you recall in one of the past videos. He has committed to the Kentucky Wildcats over Ohio State, South Carolina, and Georgia. So shout out to him and shout out to Kentucky. And guys, that will be our Week 9 recap. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comment section what game you guys liked the most. My favorite one, honestly, was that LSU Texas A&M game, if I had to pick one. So, guys, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, and we'll talk later. Peace.